Hello! This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from the beautiful metaverse, and more specifically from beautiful Danville, Illinois, homeland of the Correllian tradition and Gaia Thrift, which is where I am today. Welcome to Midday with Reverend Don. And as you know, if you follow Midday with Reverend Don, you can type your questions or comments into the chat room. They will appear here on my screen, and we can communicate directly. And I hope you're having a wonderful Valentine's Day. And I'm glad to have you joining me for my half hour today. And I wanted to talk, well, obviously a little bit about Gaia Thrift and some of the ideas behind it. And as you know, if you follow our work, Gaia Thrift is part of supporting our elder care ministry. And this is very important to us. We think it's very important to the future. And part of the idea of Gaia Thrift is to pull in money from the wider community to support the needs of our elder care ministry, the needs of our own community. So often we're pouring our money into that wider community and having it exit our community. This is kind of a trial idea for how to pull more money in from the wider community into our community. And I think that's a very important thing. As you can see, we have lots of clothes behind us. I'm going to talk about some of those today, and also why clothing is important. And we have a motto, dress intentionally. And I wanted to talk about that idea and why should you dress intentionally? And of course, it depends on what you want to get out of life. And hello to Reverend Mary in the chat room. It's good to see you, Reverend Mary. But when you pay some attention to how you look and the impression that you're giving to the world, you tend to get a better reaction. People tend to take you more seriously. They tend to react to you better. They tend to put a little more trust in you if you have put some effort into how you're presenting yourself. That doesn't necessarily mean dressing in any one particular way, but looking like you thought about it, looking like you have had some consideration of what you're putting together. And we were talking about how many messages we send in our clothing, but how many of us stop to think about that? And I certainly do stop and think about it, and I think you should too. And what is the image you're trying to create? What is the message you're trying to send from how you're dressed? I think this is important. And I have some things hanging behind me, and we're going to look at a few of them. I said that we were going to have something cute today, and I think we do. And of course, it's probably cuter to me than the sun, but for your little Don Lewis, we have the deluxe Don Lewis set of jackets and clothing for the well-dressed child. And people joke about my childhood ties and my tweed diaper and so forth, but there are photos of me as a small child in my tie and suit coat. But there are occasions, and it's not every day, when it's good for young people to have the experience of dressing up. And yes, it's unfamiliar at first, but you become familiar by doing things. And and Reverend Mary says, that's adorable. And it is.
And you mentioned there's like a large church community around here.
Well, yes, not only here, but in many places. We have a large church community here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have our own church, but I'm not just referring to that. But again, that wider community, this kind of clothing is important for many people in that expression of their lives. And it has a lot to do, I think, with attitudes of self-respect. Now, if you have never had to worry about your position in society. If you've never had to worry about money, dressing for self-respect may not be something you ever thought about. But for people who are in more challenged circumstances, dressing well also really changes how they look at themselves sometimes. So I'm a great proponent of dressing well, and from an early age. And um, the other thing I'll tell you as we go through this first Illinois winter for me, well, second, but after many, many years in the southern part of the country, it's also a much warmer way to dress. And Mary says, I wish I had a little one to buy that jacket for. Thank you, Mary. And we also have a few others. We have this one. And we have this one, which is a little bit older. The infamous tan jacket, which sends a message of its own. And in these days, I think tan jackets send a bit of a political message, but also they're still very traditional. And for the really small gentleman, we have this one, which, as you can see, is probably for a 3 or 4-year-old, I would think. Nice little blue jacket. It has a Joby label in it, and then we have this guy. And this is a very interesting jacket. You can see it has kind of like World War II inspired details, 1940s details. Very elegant little jacket for an elegant little person. And whatever you're wearing, it's going to send a message. And it's good to be mindful of that. And most people simply aren't.
Well, we live in such a casual society.
Yeah, but is that really the relationship you want with your life? I mean, we do live in a very casual society. But, I mean, do you want to be the cog in the wheel? Or do you want to be part of the wheel? And I think a lot of times people simply accept the idea of being the cog. The other thing is, people will treat you according to how you present yourself. Here we have a nice little vest for either a young person or a very slender person. And so it doesn't have to be the kind of look that I go for to be intentional. It just has to show that you care enough about yourself to put some thought into how you look. And so many people don't put a lot of thought into it. But that sends a message too. It sends a message that you're not important enough to take that time. And that is not necessarily the message you want to send.
So I just put up a link for your intention. That black shirt I like is a lot too. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
So for example, we have this, dare I say, groovy little vest. I'll call it groovy because this was the sort of thing that was considered groovy, which was the in term when I was a child. Nice little faux fur, definitely faux fur, woven back. But this kind of thing too is an intentional choice. It's a far more casual choice than the other ones we were looking at, but it's still intentional. It still creates a certain look. And when you create a certain look, whatever the look is, it's going to be noticed. It's going to cause people to form a certain attitude toward you. The colors you choose will affect how people look at you sometimes as well. And this is something that I think a lot of people don't really stop to think about. You hear about in the fashion world, you hear about people having their colors done, but there are important reasons actually to consider that if you're concerned with the image you're sending, because the colors that you're wearing can make you look healthier or less healthy, more vital or less vital. Um, they can make you feel better or they can make you more depressed. And I know for myself, the clothes that I choose can very much affect my mood on occasion. And if I'm not feeling particularly good one day, if I choose certain colors, they will pick me back up. And we also have this little sparkly vest. And I think this is what is sometimes called a shrug. I don't think it was called that when I was young, but I think it's called it now. And as you can see, it's black and silver sparkles. And either for a young person or very small person, one or the other. And some of the interesting things we have here, we're going to look at this shirt.
That's streetwear. Oh, that's not
Oh, I picked up the wrong
yeah, that is a nice shirt too. I
Yeah.
mean, you need good jackets. So talk about the shirts and how does it all go together?
one. Well, how it all goes together is really a matter of personal choice. But this kind of button-down shirt would be traditional under a jacket. But you can also wear a t-shirt under a jacket. You can wear a turtleneck under a jacket. You can wear a polo shirt under a jacket. There are a wide variety of things you can do. This kind of shirt just by itself creates a dressy appearance. On most people, they're flattering. Um, and you can you I don't know that there's any way I can convey it to you, but the fabric is very nice. And I find that when I'm wearing fabrics that feel good, I feel better. Okay, what was the one we were
It
looking
has a
for?
faded bottom, black to faded. I put it up there. Yes, that one.
Okay,
And that's traditional streetwear.
okay.
If you want to look good on the street, that's something that was very popular. The idea goes from black to white.
Mm-hmm.
You wear it on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of shirt that yeah, is not necessarily meant to be worn on with a suit, but it's meant to stand on its own, and also could be worn as a jacket in its own right, in a manner of speaking. And as you can see, it goes through a color change from top to bottom, which is always an interesting effect. And yeah, when you put all these different things together, they create a certain point of view, a certain influence. And hello to Vivian P. It's good to see you.
So,
And then here, we have a really sparkly selection for your small fashion icon. And it's a highly sequined little denim vest. And that's a cool look. And again, when I talk about dressing intentionally, I don't mean dressing in any one particular way, but rather putting things together in a way that gives you pleasure, but also gives a put together image to the world. And back when I was a young man, there was a book called Dress for Success, which today would probably be rather dated, but not in its concept. And the concept was that how you dress is going to influence how people see you and how they treat you. And this is absolutely true. And one of the things where, well, we were talking about this just a little while ago. Edward was saying when he travels in his clerical collar, he's treated very differently. I know that if I am dressed in a more clergy-like way, it produces a certain reaction from people. This is a very pronounced example But no matter what you're wearing, it's going to produce a reaction from people, good or bad. And when you dress intentionally, part of the idea is that you decide how you want to impress people, um, what you want them to perceive about you, what you want them to react to, and you dress for that purpose. And we also have a little red sequin vest for an even smaller fashion item.
So I notice you have costumes up there, kids' costumes. And there's a big argument out there. Let me go ahead and take it. Is that like you have the Halloween costumes, and the kids are wearing these costumes now all year round.
Yes, they are.
And
And for your little superhero, we have this. But yeah, costumes are no longer for Halloween.
can you talk about that? I mean, what does it do for kids to let them dress up?
I think it's good for the imagination, but it also, again, teaches that idea of dressing intentionally. If you're wearing this, even though it's a costume, what are you trying to say by choosing it? And it's that you are a superhero in your own right. It is a positive statement to the world. And Mary says, that's so cool. Thank you, Mary. And, some people will wear this sort of thing just to be wearing it. And children, and not only children, some will wear it for sleepwear. But
cosplay, right?
And for cosplay, which is very popular now. And I think part of what I recommend with dressing intentionally is to look at how you dress every day the same way that you would look at cosplay. Because so often I've seen people who are historical costumers in particular, who create these magnificent looks and are just wonderful looking. And then you see them out of costume and you wonder who you're looking at. But to apply those same principles that you create the costume with in terms of what flatters the features, what creates a strong visual impression in everyday dress is just as important, in my opinion, and just as effective. And why shouldn't you always feel special? Let me see what else we have for costumes. We have this little vampire or witch garment. You can see it has little silver spider webs down here and black velvet up here. And we have this in our costume section for children. We have
So you have a fireman. Is that yellow thing?
yes.
Yeah, because that allows them to model more positive behavior.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. And it's very visible at night. But yes, it is a model of a positive role in life, a model of positive behaviors. And you can do this through costuming. You can do it through how you dress all the time. Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. So again, dressing intentionally allows you both to focus yourself and how other people are going to react to you. And we were talking earlier about the idea of special church clothing.
Oh, that's
But why not always feel special? Why not always feel good?
what you can do.
So talk about your service that you're offering, Don. I posted it out there so people can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're offering are curated collections. And these are collections of outfits chosen for you. I believe one of them is a certain number of shirts. Another is a certain number of ties or scarves. We have one that is, I think, 2 complete outfits in mix and match. And if you're interested in these, we would have a little meeting to determine what your style is, what your desire for dressing intentionally is, and we would choose what would be good for you and put it together and send it to you. And yeah, this would be relevant to both the style of the clothing, obviously the size, but also things like the color. What colors look good on you? What colors make you feel good? These are things to think about. These are things to select for, and it's a good way, the curated collections, to rebuild a wardrobe quickly, because at the prices we offer, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about how we talk about the value of thrifting, and I think everything I'm wearing today has been thrifted at one point or another. And I found wonderful clothing through thrifting at a much lower price than I would pay for it if I were to be buying it new. And I think a lot of people who have not experienced thrifting don't realize how possible that is and what a difference it makes. So I highly recommend
Sorry, never been.
looking into thrifting here at Gaia Thrift on our online resources, or physically if you're in the area, or anywhere else. It is a great way to extend your dollar in a point in time when prices are rather high.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you still get good quality materials. It's not like you're getting things that are on their last leg. Occasionally, there may be things on their last leg, but if you watch, you'll find high quality things. And we certainly have many high quality things here. And if you're in the area, if you're in the store, many of the things we have available are just $1. We have numerous $1 bins.
This is the end of this is something that's at the end that we get. We have to toss this out, and we have to pay for the tossing it out.
Yeah. So these are what were once a lovely pair of shoes, but they're not suitable for thrifting because they're a little too far gone. And were they a better pair of shoes, they could be repaired. But this is the kind you actually will find on our shelves, and you can see they're perfectly fine. They're not scuffed up. They just no longer serve the need of their original owner, and they're quite pretty. They're very traditional looking in this case, but and they reflect up, as the nuns used to tell you. And on our rack here, they're $2. Find a nice pair of shoes for $2. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of our shoes are $2, but most of them are. And we do have some higher end things, but we're not really here about the higher end things for the most part, although we do have those too. And you'll find a lot of those on our eBay. You'll find a lot of those in our online things. But, in the end, we are a ministry, and we're here for that purpose. We're here to help people, and we're here to support elder care. And our ultimate goal is to help the elders of our community. And yeah, that's what we're doing. And at that, what else should we talk about?
Well, we're on eBay. We're doing whatnot. Talk about your next set of options.
Okay, well, we're on eBay. We're on whatnot. And we also do our auctions. My next auction, when did we say the next one was? 2 weeks from today.
And it's going to be special.
February 28th is going to be special. It's going to have a horror film theme to it. And we're going to be dealing with unusual and interesting items in an entertaining way. So in addition to offering the items for sale, we'll be talking about things like classic horror cinema and literature at the same time. So not only can you maybe find something you'd like to buy, but we can have a lovely discussion about this genre of hardcore. And one of the things we want to do as we go forward is to make our auctions a little more entertaining for people. So not only will we be offering the things, but we'll be talking about things and making it into more of an interactive experience, kind of like this show itself. And so hopefully you'll join me for that 2 weeks from today. I believe that's February 28th.
At night.
At night. Yes, in the darker hours when the subject will be most appropriate, and
Another dollar, I think.
$1. And if you read Reverend Don's book of stones, metals, and crystals, soon to be going out, we talk about the idea of using dollars, particularly the first dollar that you earn in life or that a particular business earns, for metaphysical reasons, to draw more dollars, to encourage them to multiply, to draw blessings down upon yourself. And yeah, we take that sort of thing very seriously. We talk extensively about that in the book. And now we want to take a moment for a word from our sponsors, because we love our sponsors. And here we go.
Those are just $2 there. Things there.
And
You just have to put them out.
Ready to unlock the secrets of the universe? Join me, Reverend Don Lewis, for my metaphysical and magic auctions at Gaia Thrift at whatnot.com. Discover fascinating artifacts, mystical crystals, and rare and unusual books that could change your life. Don't miss this chance to bring a little magic into your world. Reverend Don's Metaphysical and Magic Auctions, where the extraordinary can become yours. Can become yours.
And thank you to our sponsors, Equinox Learning Hub and Reverend Don's Metaphysical and Magic Auctions. As I say, the next auction is going to be February 28th. It will be a special auction with a horror genre theme. So I hope you will join me for that. We'll be talking more about it between now and then, maybe giving some previews. I hope that you've enjoyed today's program. I'll be back on Monday, and let us close with our prayer, as we always do. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you for all that you do for us in our lives, and we rejoice in this walk we walk together, and we ask you to help us to find the value in our lives, to help us to find the good things around us, and to help us to live our lives intentionally and to create that better world we want to see. Divine Mother Goddess, Divine Father God, beloved ancestors, we thank you with great love, and knowing you're always with us, we thank you for your presence, and may you be blessed now and always. I thank you for your presence. May you be blessed now and always, and we'll see you on Monday.